Hello, my name is Zach Rye with Old Man Gaming. Remnant 2 is out. It's in the world and has been for a week. Myself and a couple other community members have been really enjoying our time in it. It is a Souls-like looter shooter with procedural generation elements. And it's been capturing the imagination and the hearts of a lot of gamers out there. But everything could have some room for improvement. So it's been a little while since we've done one of these videos, but here is 5 things we want to see in Remnant 2. So this video, just for your edification for what this is, I myself asked community members that I knew were actually playing this game what they'd like to see in Remnant 2, and I also took my own suggestions into effect. Couple of things I want to say here, a quick disclaimer. This is 5 things, is not a countdown. It's not like the top thing, the first thing. It's just 5 things in any random order as to what we want. And again, we're loving this game, so this is all just really suggestions at this point. So Remnant 2 is a great game. You're seeing some gameplay of it right now on the screen. It is like I said, a looter shooter, Souls-like, if you could believe it, kind of hybrid, with these weird procedural generation elements to it. But I personally have noticed a couple of things that I'd really like to change and tweak, especially after I completed the game. So let's get into it. Let's go through it. So number 1. This comes to us from community member Rogue Lobster, and he would like to see loadouts. That's right, loadouts. One thing we have noticed in the game is that there are multiple bosses. I noticed this too just on playing it on Veteran, which is just the normal medium difficulty. I noticed that a lot of bosses require you to switch up your build a little bit, and there's a lot of stuff that goes into your build. You can have 4 rings on, an amulet on, then you've got the handgun weapon and the long gun weapon plus a melee weapon, and then your archetypes. So there's a lot that goes into your build. So switching things out is a very tedious and time-consuming thing. How easy, how wonderful would it be if you just went into your menu screen, you found the loadout, and then you clicked it, and it just re-equipped your character with the stuff that you wanted on. I think this is great, especially for somebody who's trying to build multiple builds in the game, which is somebody like myself. So I think that would be really helpful. It would make things really easy to be able to change on the fly and have things equipped. I really liked this one, so that one was really good for me. I am going to now give the number 2 one, and that is my personal biggest one, and also the biggest problem that I have with the game at this particular juncture. So I'm not exactly sure what to call this, so I'm just going to say level scaling issues. So here's the problem. You beat the game, you play through it with your archetype, you unlock a second archetype, you've got that leveled up most of the way, you level up the weapons that you're using as much as you can, you beat the game. And you think to yourself, and this is something I thought to myself, I don't know if other people are, but I'm like, I want to build for my second run because you get to re-roll the campaign, you get all different story elements, you get different stuff in it because it's all procedurally generated, so I was really excited for my second run. However, the game scales to the equipment you have on you and your power level. The big problem with this being is you can't sell your weapons, and it considers the weapons in your inventory part of that power level. I did not realize this in my first playthrough, so when I went to re-roll my next campaign, it started at level 20, even though I had decided to use 2 first-level archetypes and 2 guns that I had just purchased. I'm going to tell you right now, guys, it's impossible. It's just, you're just pouring ammo into the bad guys and can't get through them because the game thinks that you are at a level 20 even if you're carrying around level 1 stuff. This is a problem for me. This is a big problem for me because there's no way to sell your weapons. There's no way to drop your weapons. Your power level just is what it is. So you're stuck at that world level 20 eternally for the entirety of the playthrough. I don't like that. I want a way. What I'd like is maybe, I understand that the reason they have it that it's not what you have equipped is you could equip crappy weapons or whatever, then go into a world level 20 thing, pull out your So I understand that you could spawn the world at a very... you could spawn the world with a very low world level, then switch over to your badass weapons and just go through it to level up your archetypes. So it's kind of an exploit. Still, there needs to be a way for this, because that was what I was most excited for, was getting through with my first build and then starting a completely new build. But I can't. I literally have to use my old build to get enough weapons and equipment, get enough scrap and equipment to build my second build all the way up to the level that I have to, that would be competitive, which sucks because that takes all the fun journeying leveling out of it. The other thing that's irritating is when you respawn a world, it respawns Cass. So she no longer sells you the upgradable, the super upgraded equipment, which is really frustrating. I don't know why they do that, but I can't buy galvanized or hardened iron. So I can't just level up my weapons to their max level now. So I'm stuck in a level 20. I can't level up the new weapons that I want to try on the new build because of that, and it's just very frustrating. It'd be much easier if they had maybe a box in Ward 13 that would allow you to put certain pieces of equipment in it to lower your overall power level, so that when you spawn into the world, when the world scales to you, it scales to whatever that is. And that kind of stuff, they just need a fix for that, because I was very let down when I went to start my second class and I can't move, basically, because everything in the game spawns. The only way to start from to start with a low world level is to literally start the game over, and I don't want to do that. I want to play with this character and build up the classes I've already unlocked. All right, so next one. We're up to 3. Well, this one's simple. This one's going to be quick. This one's going to be easy. Number 3, more archetypes. Of course, we love them. We love the archetypes. The secrets that went into finding the archetypes and unlocking them. I mean, you get the Explorer for beating the game, but everybody else you have to find in some weird, tricky way, or watch a YouTube video, to the point where the Archon, the highest, the final archetype you unlock, you couldn't find it without data mining. Now you can go on YouTube and find the video, but it took them almost a week post the game coming out to figure out where that thing was. And I've watched the video. It is a very involved process to get the Archon. So I think that more archetypes would be great. I can't wait to see that in more DLC. Archetypes, of course, being the classes that they use. I think the classes they already have in here are really cool and interesting and unique. And I just want to see more of them. I love the pairing of 1 and 2 together. I just would like to see more archetypes in that way. All right, we're up to number 4. Moving through these pretty fast. This one was a really interesting one. I don't think we're going to get this any time soon, but this came to us by one of our community members, Backdraft. He came up with this really cool idea in here, and this one was the one that I really liked. He wanted a mini campaign mode, basically meaning that instead of spawning just an adventure, which is one area, or spawning a full campaign, which is all the areas, instead you could spawn it so that you went through every area, but just one area of each randomly. So you would go to, maybe you'd randomly get Lossum, you'd go in and you get the Sanitarium, and then you'd move through Sanitarium, and then you'd go right into Nerud, and maybe you'd get the Timeless Horizon, and then move right through that into the next one. I thought this was a really cool, interesting idea. It'd be really interesting to see what bosses you ended up spawning, what you ended up taking on. I think that would be really cool. So I thought this was a cool idea, even though I think this is not one we're ever going to see necessarily, but it's 5 things we want. It's not 5 things we're going to get. And I think this is a really cool idea. I think it would be really cool to just be like, all right, a quick full map gauntlet, go through all 4 worlds, just one area from each world. I think that'd be really cool, and then you just never know what you're going to get, which is also would add to that it would almost give it a roguelike persona to it, which I think is really cool. All right, so then our final one, number 5, this comes from me again, and that is DLC integration. So we know we're getting DLCs for this. It was included in the big premiere edition, whatever, and Remnant from Ashes had, I think, 2, maybe 3 big DLCs. So I'm excited for it. They've also already teased free DLCs on Twitter. So I'm definitely getting DLCs. What they're going to be, we don't know. More archetypes, more maps, who knows. Here's what I want, though. I want whatever that is to be integrated into the story so that it can be played from moment one. So just to get a little bit into it, when you roll a campaign, which is even from the beginning, like you're rolling a campaign and by rolling, it randomly rolls each area, the structure of each area that you go through, when you go through those areas, and what bosses you end up fighting. So when I move through Nerud for the first time, it's maybe completely different from a friend's. It may be the exact same thing. It may have slight differences. My Nerud might come first. His Nerud may come last. Like, that's how the campaign keeps it interesting for multiple plays, because overall, while it's hard and will take you many hours to beat some of these bosses, it's not a very long campaign. It's nice, tight, good. That being said, they keep it interesting by wanting you to go back in with new rerolls to see what kind of stuff you unlock the next time around, maybe higher difficulties. With that said, with that interesting part to it, I want whatever DLC they add to be put into this random generation. So let's say they do bring in Riesling from the DLC from the first game, or Corylus from the first game into this one. They build a whole new world on it with a bunch of new areas. If they did that, I'm hoping that those can then spawn before the end of the game, maybe after the end of the game. So maybe Root Earth is after 3 definitely, but might not be the last one. Maybe then you get a 4th. I want the DLC integration so that it just fits right into the campaign, so that when I'm going through those campaigns over and over again to build up my classes, just all of a sudden, holy shit, I've got a new world here, and it builds into the story that way. I think that would be really cool and really interesting. I don't know if they're going to do that. I don't know if they're capable of doing that, but that's what I'd like to see out of the DLC when they integrate it. I want them to be able to integrate it so that it's just right there, right off the bat. I'm assuming that any archetypes they put in from here on out would be either right in it or have to do something in the DLC to collect it. Both I'm totally okay with, but I want that, whatever that is, to be directly integrated into the campaign so that when I re-roll the campaign, I'm getting the DLC. I don't necessarily have to do an adventure just to the DLC. I want the DLC to just go fold right into the campaign so I can just go through it again. I think that would be really cool and interesting. I don't think any other game has done that, and they've already done a bunch of stuff that other games haven't done. Overall, I want to say I am loving my time with Remnant 2. There are definitely people out there who don't like it. I think objectively this is a good game. It might not be for you, but it is a good game. And it's another AA win, in my opinion. And I'm going to be playing it for many, many days to come. Even with my issues, I'm going to find a way around it. Because I love this game. I think about it constantly. It's great. I'd love to see these 5 things added. But either way, I'm excited for what Gunfire Games is going to bring us in the future. So, you guys can reach us on Facebook at OldManGamingDH, on Twitter at OldManGaming9. You can join our Discord. Links in the description below. Influence us in all of our shows there. I'd like to thank Rogue Lobster and Backdraft for contributing to the 5 things this time. And then, as long as you guys keep watching and listening, we'll keep making them. We'll see you guys next time.